Right, algebra note number 6, multiplying binomials. Today we looked at the FOIL method first to outside the inside in the last two terms to solve the binomial simplify our expression. Um, the homework we're going to today's notes we're looking at two more. We're looking at the box method or the area method, and then the distributive method. Now with the box method, we got a few steps. This first thing to do is to draw a box, a 2 by 2. It's a 2 by 2 because they're binomial. So this is a binomial, so there's two terms, and another binomial, two terms. So we want to draw a box that's 2 by 2. So 2 by 2. And then I place each term on the outside of the box, the top and the left side. So I'm going to take this x plus 3, and I'm going to put it on the top. X and 3. And then this x and 2, x and 2. So I place my two binomials out on the outside of the box. Then it says to multiply the terms and write the product in each box. What I mean by that is we multiply, so in this box, we have x times x, which is x squared. In this box, we have x times 3. Well, x times 3 gives us 3x. And then 2 times x gives us 2x. 2 times 3 gives us 6. Alright, and then, so we multiplied, we have the products, so we have x squared, we have 3x, we have 2x, and we have 6, and then once again we can combine our like terms, so we can put these x's together, so we get x squared, 3x plus 2x, gives us 5x plus 6. So we get x squared plus 5x plus 6. Example number 2. So the first thing we're going to do, we have two terms, so we're going to draw a box that is 2 by 2. I'm going to place my x, and now this time I'm going to write a negative 4 because we have a minus 4. And then we have on this side, we have an x and a 3. And then we multiply. So we drew our box, place the terms on the outside. Now we multiply. So we do x times x, which will give us x squared. We do x times negative 4. That's negative 4x. 3 times x, 3x, and then 3 times negative 4, negative 12. And we list all of our terms. So once again, I have x squared. I wrote the negative 4x. Now this is a positive 3x and then a negative 12. So I wrote my terms, and we can combine our like terms so we can put our x's together. So we get x squared, negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1x minus 12. And that's multiplying this using the box method. And then if we look at example 3, alright, so the first thing we have to do is draw a 2 by 2 square. So I drew my 2 by 2 square. That's 2 by 2 once again because we have two terms and two terms. It can be 3 by 3, 2 by 3, depending on how many terms we have. And then we place this one. So I'm going to place a 2x here, and I'm going to place a y over here. And then with my second one, I place a 3x, and now this time a negative 2y. So I wrote my terms around the box. So now that I know I have to fill up each section of this box. So I'm making sure that I'm multiplying all of my numbers. So we look at it and we do 3x times 2x. That gives us 6x squared. And then we do 3x times y, which gives us a 3xy. And then we look at the bottom two. So I have negative 2y times 2x, negative 2y times 2x, negative 2 times 2, negative 4, and then we have x, y. And then the last one, negative 2y times y. So negative 2y times y will give us negative 2y squared. So we have all of our terms. So we multiplied, we got all of the terms. Now we write them out. So I have 6x squared plus a 3xy minus 4xy and then minus 2y squared. We write all of our terms out. And then once again, we want to combine our like terms. So these are the like terms, the xy's. They both have xy's. So I have 6x squared, and then 3xy minus 4xy gives me negative 1xy, and then minus 2y squared. So that's the box method where we draw our box, we write the terms on the top and the left, and we multiply to fill in each box, and then we combine our like terms to simplify our expression to get our answer. The other method is the distributive method. All right, with the distributive method, it's saying we have our two terms and we're just going to break it apart. So what I want to do is I'm going to break this apart. So I'm going to take change the color, it's easier to see. All right. Now we can see this a lot better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this x and multiply everything in here. So we're going to do x times x plus 2, and then we're going to take this, which is black, or positive 3 times x plus 2. So we're breaking this apart, and then we distribute. So when we multiply these, we get x times x, which is x squared, x times 2, which is 2x, 3 times x, which is 3x, 3 times 2, which is 6. We combine our like terms, and we get x squared plus 5x plus 6. So with this method, distributive method, we're taking that first binomial and breaking it down to x and to a positive 3, and then multiplying the second term by that. So once again, if we look at example 2, we're taking this binomial and we're saying we have an x and a negative 4. Now I take this negative 3 and I multiply everything by it. So I have my x times the x plus 3, and then we have a negative 4 times the x plus 3. We can simply multiply this. So we do x times x squared, x times 3 plus 3x, negative 4 times x, negative 4x, and negative 4 times 3, negative 12. So we broke it apart. We distribute the first one, we distribute the second one, and we get x squared plus 2x minus 4x minus 12. Then we combine our like terms. 3x minus 4x is negative 1x, so I have x squared minus 1x minus 12. And that's the answer for this one. And then our last example, for example 3. Once again, we have two terms, our two binomials, so I have this one, which is 2x, and a positive y. We have our second binomial, which is right here. So we take this 2x first, so I'm going to write equals 2x, and then take this second binomial and put it in here, so I can distribute that 2x to this entire thing. And then I have y, so it's a positive y, and then I have my 3x minus 2y. And now we just distribute. So this gives us 6x squared minus 2 times 2 is 4, and then xy, and then y times 3x will be plus 3xy. Y times negative 2y will give me negative 2y squared. Now once again, we can look for our like terms. We have these like terms. So we get 6x squared and negative 4xy plus 3xy negative 1xy minus 2y squared. And if you look at the answers on the front, they should match the answers on the back, because I'm they were the same three questions. We just did them in two different ways. So now we have our three ways of multiplying our binomials. We have the FOIL method, first, outside, inside, last. The box method where we draw our box 2 by 2 and then we multiply. And then the distributed method where we break down the first one and multiply each term by the second binomial to get our answer, right? And that's the end of notes number 6.